right, man. Y'all know who it is, man. Y'all know it's Bravo in the building and Coach James O.M. You don't need no introduction, man. We gonna sit here for the next few minutes and we're gonna talk some real talk, man. We're gonna keep it real, bounce questions and ideas off each other, man, and we're gonna, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, man. So we're gonna jump into it, man. We're just gonna jump into it, man. You know, this whole thing that people always talk about, two subjects that I personally don't like, but I will argue them to the point. That's that daddy ball mentality shit, and that's that A-play player thing. And so, I'm gonna throw it at you. I want your perspective. I'm gonna throw it at you. I don't think it's daddy ball when a father devotes his time, energy, money, resources into his child, and his child is good, his child is developing. Like Joe made a point a couple weeks ago. If your child is 6.5, my child is 6, I'm gonna choose my child. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna, that's my goal as a father. Fuck the coaching shit. Fuck that. And we real talk. Like you ain't gotta watch your words, make your words. But give me your point of view.
I mean, it's kind of like you just said. I mean, what a lot of people don't understand, a lot of people who scream out "daddy ball" is really, I look at it as really an excuse, or really a cop out to why your son isn't where you think he should be.
Okay.
What a lot of people don't understand is when you have a son, that you're the coach of your son, the stuff you're doing in the background with coaching. This is not to take away from any other father, that may be working with their son, in the off season or outside of practice. But as a coach, and you working with your child, like, what he's doing, what he's capable of, what he can do, this and that. You don't have to wonder, is this parent taking their child out after school, working on the stuff I said he needs to work on, or X, Y, and Z. You know what's happening with your child because you're actually doing it. But really with the daddy ball thing, man, I always just say, it's gonna speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? So personally with my son, just being on a more personal level, that's just a topic I'm not gonna entertain anymore. I feel like my son his play on the field speaks for itself. If you want to dispute it, we can go film for film. We can do whatever you want to. We can do whatever you want to do.
Right,
we can do whatever you want to do to
Absolutely.
have any type of comparison that you think that needs to be had. And if and honestly speaking, if someone feels like their child, is in a better place or can do better, then just show me then. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go back and forth about that topic anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Again, when people who usually speak on that daddy ball stuff, are the people who really want their child to have like a handout, or they want their child to do more than what they're currently doing or something like that. I always speak on this, and this is just in general with any kid. I always ask people, like, we're coaches, and we're out here to develop kids and everything like that, but we're all men too, and we're competitive. So we want to win. You know what I mean? So we want to win just as much as the next coach, outside of the whole development and teaching and growing the kids. So do you think that I'm not going to put
the best
product out there to compete and win, regardless if it's my son or not? So again, with the Jeff example, I definitely agree with that. If it's a close thing like that, and it's my child, and I'm like, man, listen, I'm out here volunteering my time, coaching and stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna put my child in the best position. You know what I mean? To succeed.
Absolutely.
But if there's any dispute in that, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and you made a valid point. Here's the thing is, and I said this, and I'm a firm believer of this. As a father, if you have a talent, then you would be a fool. Simple as that. FOOL, fool, to not pass that on to your, a carpenter. He's going to pass on his carpentry skills to his son. A computer wizard. He's going to pass on, like that is every father's goal. Like, I think that most men won't admit it, but they love their daughters, but they want a son. They want a son to carry on their legacy. They want a son to pass on certain things that they know, and to teach him how to be a man. And maybe I'm just thinking along the terms of me, what I wanted in life. But when I go back and look, I say, man, you know football. Why the hell wouldn't you pass it on to your son? And then you're going to, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can't speak for you, you're going to be hard on him because you know what it takes to be successful. People don't get that.
Absolutely.
If you know how something works, you're not going to give your child allow him to cut a corner. Because if you do that, you're setting them up for failure. And so, nah, man, you know, and one thing I'm going to say is, and I've said it before and I will say it to your face, you know, I've always looked at your child as being a great talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know you, and I kind of saw him, then I kind of, you know, everything mixed together. And so it's, like you said, it's undeniable. When you see a kid on the field, you say, okay, that kid is something special. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about his how can I say it, his parents, but when you know who the parents are, you kind of get out there, you say, okay, I see why. Go ahead.
I'll say this too. With all that being said, you know, there have definitely been times where, you know, he wasn't performing to his abilities.
Okay, Michael Jordan.
So there's definitely those times where you know, he might have off games, or might be in his head. Something may be going on. You know, these are 8, 9-year-olds. You know, not just woke up on the wrong side of bed, just not playing or performing like he should or whatever it's not. And you know, I'm not above pulling him. You know, I've definitely pulled him out of games.
Right.
You know, and you know, up until, you know, we've been lucky enough to have another quarterback that's just as capable to come in and pick up the slack and all that stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I've never had a problem, you know, recognizing the fact that, hey, Justice, like, you're not on your game right now. You need to sit down and take a break, get your mind right, get whatever you need to get together, and then we'll try this again. You know what I mean? And if it's not happening all day today, then hey, take the ass to receiver or something like that. You play defense too. You know, get your defensive reps, whatever. You know, the point is this: I'm never going to put my team at a disadvantage to force something that is not there. Meaning if it's an off day, you know, I'm not going to say, you know what, you stinking up the field, but
I'm gonna make it work.
I'm gonna make it work.
Right.
I don't do that, you know. So.
But we see it happen, and so then, you know, and I hate to cut you off, but you made a valid point. We see it happening, right? And so then when we see it happen, sometimes more often than not, it's quick to try to lump everybody into that one category. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, okay, let's say, for example, if I was a coach, you know, and I'm putting Landon in the game, and he's fumbling, he's tricking up the money, whatever else it is, and I'm constantly, just like I said, you're gonna push through it. But sometimes a kid can't push through it.
Right,
and
exactly.
so if I don't have the wherewithal to pull him, then naturally people have an argument. Absolutely. And then if you're doing it over and over and over again, but we see that so much so that it's hard to separate the two when they see a man that understands and knows the difference between the two and acts on it. So, you know, but nah, man, you made some real valid points. And a lot of people don't want, but you know, I think people hear what they want to hear, selective hearing, and so they're here to daddy ball, they're here this and that, but they don't hear, or they don't even pay attention. A lot of people don't even read the fucking headlines. All they do is read the headlines, and then they naturally assume they know the story. And it's like it's more to the story than the headlines, bro.
There's always more. And again, a lot of people, you know, they have a narrative that they want to push, and they're going to pull different things, whether true or not, whether to support the narrative that they're trying, or the picture they're trying to paint, or whatever. And so that was a big thing of mine when I made, you know, my live earlier this week. Okay. I made a post, you know, just not getting involved in that too much this season. You know, you're gonna paint whatever narrative you're gonna paint. As a team and as a coach, you know, my responsibility is to my team, the success of my team. My responsibility is to my parents, to my kids, and that's gonna be my focus. So paint whatever narrative you want to paint. You know, call whatever you want to call, whatever you want to call.
Right.
We're just gonna focus on, you know, our team, the success of our team. We're gonna continue to be successful as we have been for the past 3 seasons.
No,
outside of all the extra other noise. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean. We're here to compete. We're here to compete at a high level, and I mean, it could all be solved on the field. Everything can be solved on the field. So, but yeah, the sort of daddy ball thing. I mean, it's a.
But do you think, like, a lot of people, like, you know, and I you know, like, when y'all go on live in the daytime, I'll be at work, I'll be trying to go on the live, and there'll be much going on. But, you know, I caught some of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, you were talking about, you know, the schedule that you played, and, you know, you played a hell of a schedule a couple years ago, then you kind of toned it down a little bit, but still was a heavy schedule. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that you probably played a lot of like shit, damn near 50 some games over the last 2 seasons. That's like that's a lot of goddamn games. Some team ain't playing that over a 3-4 year period. But when people throw that out there, you're ducking. People say not just necessarily to you, but it's kind of like a bait. It's kind of like I'm gonna bait you in because to me sometimes I think it's clout chasing. I think it's somebody saying just like the dude, the boxer. I don't know if you're a boxing fan. Dude, I'm a whoop Dave Avante, I'm a whoop Tank ass, and I'm a this that, and he got tore, and he got tore in a grand fashion, and it's kind of like at some point you was chasing clout, you was chasing money. Yeah, you football, you're not getting paid out. No, I'm not. But do you think? Well, what's your opinion on that? Because I know you had put a lot.
And so that's one of those other things that I'm moving forward. This season is not one of the things I'm going to continue to address because again, that's one of the things that I can easily put my schedule out there for the past 2 seasons. Show every opponent we played.
Right.
Show what our record was against those 2 seasons. I mean, in 2 seasons, I want to say 50-5 or something like that.
Right.
50-5 or whatever. We've literally played every single team in the DMV that people, whether rankings, whether people just said was a top team. It just doesn't hold any weight to me anymore.
Right.
It doesn't hold any weight. I mean, just there was the ranking last season on AP. I don't know what the one ranking was, whatever. But literally all the teams that were in the top 5, we played them. Win, lose, or draw. We played those teams. Same thing in the region. The top teams in the region, 302 Elite, they're top regional teams. We consistently played at least 5, 6 out of those top 10 teams.
Right.
Every season. So it just saying it doesn't hold any weight anymore because it just doesn't make any sense. The facts don't support that narrative that we duck teams or we don't play teams. We actually messed up a couple games last season that we had scheduled against top teams, trying to play other top teams that didn't come through or come down and honor their obligations. So we wanted to mess around having to have a bye week because teams said they were coming, they didn't come. The team that we were supposed to play filled that week with the games, and then we have it. So it worked out well for our parents, I guess. Because they got a week off. But the whole idea that we duck teams is ridiculous. I think we're the, I know that we're the only team in the DMV that has played every top team in the DMV at our age group, in the last 2 years, every single one. So that's just another one of those things that, I feel like, saying that is, I hate to, use this line, but I feel like our team is the clout. What I mean? It's the standard is play PME, beat PME. Now we're that team now. You know what I mean? And that's just how I feel personally because again, there's different examples that that show me that that's kind of the case when people rank certain teams that weren't in the spotlight, but now they played us. Now they're you know what I mean? So So
they build their name off your back.
Exactly, and I feel like that's a lot of times what teams want to do. Where we're constantly being called out every week. Play this. And I'm at the point now where we like you said, we've played 50 some odd games in 2 years. It's a lot on the boys. It's a lot on the boys, and even more on the parents.
It's a lot on you, man.
It's a lot
of goddamn game plan.
No, it is. So I tell people all the time.
Because I know you're not using the same playbook.
Yeah, exactly. So and again, it's a lot because it's like you playing Saturday and Sunday. Then as soon as your Sunday game is over, you literally got to start getting the practice things scheduled ready for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to prepare for 2 more teams that you're playing the next weekend. You know what I mean? So it's very stressful. You know what I mean? At the beginning of the season, it's kind of fun. You're getting all the bump, but you get to October and everything like that. It's like, man, you kind of burnt out. Where you at that point sometimes it's like, man, like I just want to play a team where we can just beat up on. So I can just sit back and let the boys just do what they do. Where it doesn't. Those type of teams where you got those teams that you don't really got to coach the boys up to play, but those type of games are for mental breaks. Like people don't understand. Like we need those mental breaks at least for the schedule that we play.
No,
we're not
right.
we're not just out here playing 8 games or whatever where we could focus all that time and energy on 8 opponents. We out here playing 20 plus opponents a season. It's like, man, you
and good
need,
opponents. Good,
right?
you know,
Exactly. I mean, you need those opponents where you can just be like, man, we're just gonna chill out this weekend.
But let me ask you this question, and this is a serious question. Do you think it's ingenious marketing on their part? I mean, look at it like this. You call, it's kind of the prison mentality, right? You go in prison and you pick on the biggest guy because you figure like this. Worst case scenario, if you get your ass whooped by the biggest guy, at least people know you're not scared to fight. And the next person,
So for the team that's doing the calling out, definitely understand it. Why not? You have nothing to lose. You're calling out the quote unquote big dog. It's already expectation that you're not going to do well or succeed, or that team's gonna beat you or whatever. Hey, you go out there and just play your game, and what the best thing that can happen is you win, and then
right.
like for us, for me looking at it sometimes, it's like some of these situations are like it's no win for us, it's no gain for us.
Right.
It's no gain for us. You're gonna get all the gain in it if you happen to win. You know what I mean? So for me, this season, we're not gonna have as many games, but we definitely have the top opponents,
Okay.
at least in the state,
Right.
The top teams in the state, at our age group at least is, we got the Tigers in Virginia Beach,
Okay.
the Canes who we went to the state championship with,
Okay.
and Glenlee out of Richmond.
Okay.
And we're scheduled to play all those teams.
No,
We're there in the regular season, So, again, people who, continue to say, we're ducking at this point now, I say, okay, we're ducking, all right, cool. We're ducking. And then I ask them, what's your schedule? What's your schedule? Have you played, these teams that are
Right.
considered the top teams as well? If you haven't, then now you're just talking, and like you said, it's kind of clout chasing.
No, absolutely. We've talked about, and I think you've come on the show quite a few times, and I appreciate definitely the support and the insight you come on because I think like you have a wealth of knowledge with the youth football, and I think just probably worldwide anyway. But we talk about the 8-play playbook now, and so they kind of changed the rules where you can manipulate it where the kid, if you deem them an 8-play kid, they can be on the kickoff and they can be on the field goal and all that stuff. I mean, your opinion, because I think I've expressed mine the past week, but what's your opinion on that?
So the change that AYF did to allow the kickoffs and kick returns to count as plays, I mean it's better, but understand, like, those are real plays.
No, absolutely.
those are real plays. So you're gonna mess around and put let's say you're gonna mess around and put those players on kickoff.
I like that.
Like they're gonna mess around and put those players on kickoff that can't run down and make a tackle.
Right.
Then the other team scores. It's just as bad as you trying to sneak them in on defense or wherever the case. Those are real plays that can be scored. So I mean, to me, it's still the same per se. It's still the same. Yeah, it's still the same. So
I got a good one.
it's still the same, man. I mean, I think the best thing is personally just. There's just no 8-play rule. I mean, as a parent, you have to understand the situation you're putting your child in, and you have to accept at the beginning of the season if you want to put your child in that situation where, they're actually gonna have to compete for their time. It's not gonna be given to them. So if they're not up to the standard as the rest of their teammates, and you don't want them to necessarily compete at that level where they can have the opportunity to gain that playing time, then you have a choice to take them to another team. One thing I do at the beginning of every season, and my parents will tell you, I make a long. We have a group chat, a group Facebook page, private Facebook page for our team. At the beginning of the season, I put, hey, this is the plan for the season. This is that. If you feel like, there's going to be an issue or you're not going to get the plan, hey, leave now. Leave now. You have the option to leave now, because what I don't want to do, which I still wind up doing in some way, shape, or form every season, is deal with emails or calls or hey, listen, hey, I don't care if we're up 40 to freaking nothing. All right, D, I'll let you. I don't care if we're 40 to nothing, and you feel just because of that, your child should now play the whole second half or whatever the case may be. You know, because we're up a certain round. We're up because those kids who put in the work and play every, you know, and put in the work, did what they did. So I should take away from their day, you know, and make them have a shorter day. Like this something like this. That's what they're looking forward to all season. I mean, all week. So I should cut their days short and let your child, you know, reap the benefits of their work.
No,
you know what I mean? So, you know, that's just how I feel, man. So I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, I always tell people like, if a kid is not as talented or whatever the case, let's say they're quote unquote 8-play kid, I have no problems with those kids that are classified as that, but that put in the work, that want to work, that want to get better.
Right.
My problem is, you know, having those type of kids who, you know, don't really want to play football.
Right.
It's their parents that's making them do it.
Right.
The parents are putting them in this just so they can say, post pictures on IG. Look at little Johnny boy that's on the field with the green helmet on, playing for PME, this and that, and then have the audacity to call and complain about, you know. And I'm like, hey, I invite all my parents like, hey, just come stay at practice. Don't be a parent that drops your kid off at practice and then just take off.
Then you go
Yeah. Hey, come at practice and see what we see. See that, you know, when tackling drills come up, your child is the one that constantly just sidesteps and goes to the back of the line or conveniently has to go to the bathroom every time there's some type of, you know, this and that.
Right.
Come see that happening and then understand why we make the decisions we make on game day. Parents have to get out their head like that. We as adults, like, dislike children. Like, they make it seem like we have a personal, you know, issue with a child. Like why? You think I don't like an 8-year-old? What do you mean? Like, that doesn't. I'm a grown man. Like, why would I ever have a problem with dislike a child? At the same time, we're playing a competitive sport. And we compete at a high level. And if your child is not there yet, and it's one of the points you made, because I have a story too about the same thing like you said with Landon. If your child's not ready, not only is it a detriment or could be a detriment to himself, but to his teammates.
Absolutely.
At 7U, I tell you, at 7U, we actually, we were playing the Jackets. It was one, you know, it was a kid who, you know, put him on the backside. We're like, hey, we're passing to the right. Just gonna put him at the backside tight end or whatever. Okay. Rolls right. Ball snap. Literally just opened the door. Just moved out the way. Just moved out the way. And when I tell you, it was the hardest justice ever been hit.
Man.
And he was laid out there, and Coach Mo came off, Daddy Mo came off.
Right, no, absolutely.
Daddy Mo came was like, what the fuck? And again, it's, you don't want to, like, Daddy Mo, you're not a coach now. You're like, hold on. Like, all you had to do is just like,
just stand there.
If you know what I mean?
Hold him, goddammit.
Right.
Like,
but so when stuff like that happens, and then those same parents, you know, they don't acknowledge that though. They turn that. Oh, they didn't see that. You know, they didn't see that. They didn't see that. Like, put it again. You didn't see that. You know, he just allowed, you know, one of his teammates to, you know,
get fucked up. Right. Like, call it what it is.
Yeah, get fucked up. You know, you don't want to see that. You don't want to acknowledge that. But you want to, you know, be in the inbox basically saying how, you know, there's favoritism on the team. There's favoritism. You're not being fair as a coach. This and that. Again, like we said earlier, do you think that I'm not going to put the kids out there that's help us to win the game?
No.
So, you know, the 8-play thing. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with it when it's kids that actually want to work and get better.
But now let me throw this section right. And so, you know, something you said earlier, which, you know, I'm the same way. I know what his I'm gonna say this. I know my son. I know his weaknesses. I know his strengths. I know, you know, I know what he's capable of doing. I know what he's not capable of doing. Whether I talk to you about it or not, I know. Yeah. And so me personally, I'm never gonna be like, oh man, you know, like what the fuck is going on? Because I understand who my son is. I don't lie to myself about my son. Like I said, I'm not gonna never tell you, James, this kid is better than my son. But me knowing if the kid is, I'm not gonna do either one. I'm not gonna say this kid is better. I'm not gonna say Landon better. I'm gonna let the crowd take care of it. But I'm not gonna live in that glass house of lies. But I also say, go ahead, no.
And that's what parents do.
The parents, right.
They're not,
But
it's,
that's what.
it's not being realistic. It's not being realistic and then having unrealistic expectations of what your child is capable of doing. We have just for example, we have like 3 new kids on our team.
Okay.
3 new kids on our team, 3 new kids to football. Period.
Oh,
So I told the kid, I was like, listen, the type of team we are, we do a lot of travel, we play at a high level, play fast, we got hand signals, we doing all kind of stuff right there.
Right.
So to just come into football, I don't put it past any kid because we had a couple kids last year, brand new football. By mid-season, they got it. It was cool,
Right.
whatever. But I let parents know that because it's not. I don't want them to get the mentality where it's like Philadelphia Sports Club mentality, where you just going to Cloverdale or veterans every week playing the same kids, same team, kind of just going there and just that racquetball mentality. Where it's just
Right.
like, everybody's just gonna have a chance to freaking score a touchdown.
That's that Rudy mentality. Everybody want Rudy. The Rudy is the kid that everybody rooted for, knowing damn well he defied a lot of odds.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
he defied a lot of goddamn odds. But how's that helping the kid? When like if I'm telling you the lie, like, oh man, this kid is so fantastic, like it comes out in the wash. How's that helping the kid in the long run? Because here's the thing: is as a parent, you know if your kid is lazy, you know if your kid is intolerable to receptive to information or coaching, and you know if he has a work ethic or not. Here's the thing: is if you got a kid that won't even take the trash out, what the hell, And I do know that my son is more responsive to. My son will be more responsive to you as a coach because he thinks like, okay, Dad don't know what he's talking about, and I'm fine with that. But as long as I know that you're coachable, I'm cool with it. But when I know you're not coachable, I can't hold you accountable for something that I'm not even holding my son accountable for. If you're saying, okay, I have the formula, you have to follow this fucking formula. It's no other way. At 9, 10, 11, 12, you don't know shit. So I'm showing you how to do it. You need to follow me. And as soon as you deviate from that, you're not going to have success. Then you're going to blame me on top of it. How the fuck does that work? Because I'm confused still. I'm still confused at 52 years old. How people can hold you accountable for something, and I say you because you're sitting here, you're accountable for something they don't hold themselves or their child accountable for.
Back. So again, I tell my kid even now, we start our little conditioning program.
Okay.
It's once a week. And I tell them at the end of every, I don't call it like conditioning. I say, listen, if you think this one day a week is going to be enough, it's not. And if you think because you meet up every Tuesday and you get this little 2-hour conditioning thing, that's going to be enough to, let's say, get over someone who's working 3-4 days a week, it's not. So don't be mad at me if you're in the same position you were in last year, because you already let's say you're already second string, right? So let's say you're already second string, but you got first string, the first string player that's working out 3-4 times a week, and you just come in Tuesday.
Better.
I mean, it's
constantly getting better.
Right. It's still gonna stay the same. So parents, I tell the boys and children, like it's more to it than just coming especially now when we're only just meeting up once a week and like a little conditioning. Right. You're gonna have to put more work in. If you're not willing to put more work in, don't be surprised when you're in the same position you were in last year.
No,
I always tell the kids, like, hey, you got options. Parents, hey, you got options. There's a million teams in this area that you can go to. You know what I mean? I'm never going to as a coach, I'm not gonna ever beg a kid to stay. I'm always gonna respect whether it makes sense to me or not, because it's not for me to understand per se. I'm never gonna, try to deter a parent from doing what they feel is best for their kid, whether it makes sense to me or not. It's not for me to understand.
Well, let me ask you this question. Since you said you made a point, I cut you off because I wanted to key in on that. Do parents know what's best for their kid?
So,
I mean, because and that's a real question. That's not a facetious question. That's saying like sometimes we don't know. Like people don't know. People people want to hang with James. James a cool guy. James come out here. He dapped up. He cool dude. He understands the game. He teaches the game. People want to be a part of that. Don't be confused about it. People want to be a part of that. That's the law. You know what I'm saying? So
the parents know what's best. I mean, that's kind of sticky. I don't ever want to say a parent There's no.
Well,
What
I
I
say
say
when
is,
it comes to football, in the context of football, let's,
I'll
because
say-
I think that parents do have their kids' best interests, but sometimes I
Right.
think that we are jaded, if that makes sense. Because here's the thing: is who don't want to be with a winner? Who don't want to be on the team with a winner? Who don't want to be surrounded by winners? Like if somebody tell me I don't want to win, I just like for my son to learn and to play the game. I think it's a threefold thing. You want your child to be in a good, safe environment. You want them to learn the game, and you want them to win. Like it's nothing. Yeah, we can shut down if you need to. I know, look, but we want to win because there's nothing worse. You know for yourself. Than sitting in the car with a kid in the back seat with his head hung low because they just lost a game. Nothing worse. Now imagine sitting that week after goddamn week. That shit it takes its toll. So that's what I mean. I no disrespect, no parents. When you hear this, don't hit my inbox up. You know I fight back. But the thing with it is no. Like I think I should preface when it comes to football. Sometimes parents just chasing the goal and not looking at the big picture.
yeah, absolutely. But again, parent, you don't necessarily know what that parent's goal is for their child. A parent's goal could be, it may not be just to have the development and there may not be that free education goal off of this sport. It may just be, you know what, I want my child to have some cool memories, make some friends, and while doing that, get some highlights too while doing it. Get some highlights too while doing it. That might be their goal. And if they're on a team where they're not able to, let's say, get the highlights they want, they're like, yo, I'm not here for all this serious XO stuff. I just want my son to run a couple routes, get some catches, get upfield, and go. So by me as a coach, I don't know that, and parents aren't gonna necessarily tell you that. So they're gonna make a move, and that's why I never take it personal, or anything like that. When a parent,
No, absolutely.
hey,
So we're the lamb. This is deep.
yeah, probably like 10 minutes on movie. No, you didn't. All right.
Nah, this is getting
No,
deep.
you
I ain't
good.
gonna-
No, you good.
I
No,
ain't
you
gonna-
good. No, you good. I tried to get that.
look,
But no, so I say so. I don't know what the parent. You don't necessarily know what the parents' goal is. All I try to tell parents is I'm very upfront with parents about where I stand. I tell parents, hey, before the season, if you want to talk to me about what I foresee your child's role is on the team, I will be open to do that. So at that point, you can make the decision based on now. Again, that role could change because at the beginning of the season, I see you one way, you get better, you do this, and that. Now, like, hey, instead of you coming a third down back or third down, hey, you first and second down back. Now you step. So at the beginning of the season, I'm like, hey, listen, this is what the plan is. This is his role. This is what I would like it to be if things fall into place.
Right.
And if you're not comfortable with that, now is the time to pay the money and all that stuff. Now, if you order uniforms, now's the time to say, hey, this doesn't align with my goals for my child, and then you can make the appropriate moves.
And although that conversation is kind of hard to handle from a parent standpoint, it needs to be had because here's what I always say is this: don't make the choice for me. I've always been the person where it's like, lay it out for me, and if I made the choice, then I'm going to live with the choice. I mean, because the one thing that I believe is this: that once you take the uncertainty off the table, now you put accountability on the parent. Okay, I'm going to sign on the dotted line. I'm going to write you the check or swipe the credit card. Now it is what it is, But if do you think it's rampant? And I guess we probably never really truly know. But do you think it's rampant that coaches are giving these parents these false claims of these false promises? Excuse me. Come to us and we're going to do.
Yeah,
we're going to work magic. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I definitely do. I feel like, but here's what I feel like. There's some parents out there that I just feel like should know better.
Okay.
I feel like should know better.
Well, that goes back to do they know better?
So
they should, but
I feel
do
like
they?
some do. So
Okay.
you have some parents out here who, let's just use for example. Let's not all single moms and all that stuff like that.
So we're not general. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still live.
Yeah, so
we're not generalizing.
yeah, so I'm
just
not
saying
generalizing, but let's
we
just say-
understand that it does happen.
Yeah, there's some parents out there that don't have the knowledge. So, a coach comes up to them and kind of telling them all about the cool things, the bells and whistles, and they're just like, oh, it's kind of cool looking uniforms. Coach talks a good game, this and that. This is good. This is good for my child, So they don't know any better. But now there are parents that I feel like, they know what's going on. So I feel like at least you should know the type of situation or environment you're putting your child in. Now, granted, they could think that my presence there is going to change things or whatever. So they're like, I know it may not be the best environment now, but now that I'm coming in with my son or this and that, it's going to be a better environment. We're going to turn this around.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in, things just are with me. Like if a team has shown you how they operate, what they're doing, like let's say a team that runs 100% of the time, right? And they say, I got this new shiny, player or whatever, I'm gonna automatically start, do what we do. Let's say we're a team that passes 50%, right. We're a 50-50 team, right? Okay. They're gonna start doing that. For me, I'm not buying that, because in my mind, as a football-minded person, even if I was just a parent, I'm like, that's not in your DNA.
Right.
That's just not what you've ever done. And now I have to trust that you're gonna change everything you've done and operated with in X amount of years to accommodate me and what I do or my child. For me, I'm just like, nah, I don't look at it like that. Like, that's not. I look at things for what they are. You have a history of doing a certain thing. I'm basing my decisions off of those type of things. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is your history. If I put my child in this situation, I don't expect you to necessarily change your history.
No, right.
So,
a snake is a snake, man.
Yeah. So that's just how
the only thing he does is shed his stick. And and I use the snake as a snake mentality. I'm not saying that's a snake move, but I said people, like Coach said, man, if this is my history, and then it goes back to if that's my success, the hell am I change it for?
Exactly.
So, man,
right.
Be foolish.
Right. So,
but I know we ain't got but so long, James. So I'm gonna take you off Coach James, Father James. Like I told you, and I give your son utmost props. And I tell people this, man. I like seeing these kids play. None of these kids can do for me at all, but be themselves, and hopefully it's something I can do for them. Like no form I got. What's your end goal, if I can ask you, on a personal level for your son? Because he's a great talent, and so like we don't have to mince words and be confused about on Bravo TV. He's a great talent. What's your end goal as a father now?
Personally for me, it's for him just to really continue to enjoy the game. Just real quick, I'll go too deep into it. I had an older son. He's 20 now. But he grew up in Dale City Sports Club. He was a part of PME first coming up, or whatever. When we first started PME, he was part of PME, this and that. I had so much of me invested in him and his success. When he got to the point where he was like, I don't want to do this football thing anymore. I remember how it made me. I was like, I was devastated. I was like, what the fuck? Right. Like, you know what I mean? So for me now, I'll say this: my emotional, I don't have the same emotional connection to it. I really want him to have fun.
Right.
And as long as he's enjoying the game, I'm good. Granted, bigger picture, free education. Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
I want that free education. But even more so than that, I want him to enjoy the game. I don't want to put the same amount of pressure that I put on him, as I put on my older son, on Justice or whatever. As long as he's enjoying the game, he has a passion for the game. He actually likes to go out there and work out. He wakes me up in the morning. Hey, Dad, hey, can we go out and throw the ball? Can we do this? Can we? Quarterback coach worked on this, can we work on it now too, this and that. So as long as he has that desire and passion, whatever, I'm good. That's my goal, because I look at the bigger picture of how that's going to translate to him being in the play. Putting that work in and doing that, having that drive to get better, without somebody having to tell him to, hey, you gotta wake up in the morning and put more work in if you want to be greater than average. He already understands that now at an early age. When he sees other quarterbacks that he deems are better than him, like he has, hey, I want to do that. You know,
right.
I want to do that. I want to be better than that. So as long as he has that type of drive and that type, and he's having fun with it, I mean, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. All the other stuff I got to tell him, all the accolades, awards, notoriety, all the stuff like that, that's cool. I know you like it. We as parents, nobody's gonna lie. We as parents like it. Like, we like our child to be recognized for the hard work that we know they put in. But ultimately, man, as long as he's having fun, man, doing work, man, we good, man.
Can I share this with the people? I guess I'm probably going to, one of the things that, I know with you, you're selfless when it comes to him because, I think you understand the dynamics that, I kind of made this statement the other day, like there's certain kids that don't need Bravo, and what I mean by that, they're going to be successful, and he's one of those kids that I feel like he's going to go on and do great things, and that's just myself. But I've lived a pretty good life, and I've kind of been right about a lot of things in my life, and I think he's one of those kids because he has a great support system, he's a great talent, and, seemed like a great kid from the few interactions I had with him. And so I know that, like, when I was like, look, I'm putting him on my list, you were, like, against it. And I was like, well, James, you don't have a say-so on that. Like, you don't have a say-so. Like, that's not about you. And I'm not putting that to bust you out or nothing. I'm just letting people know, like, you've never been one to be like, hey, need me, look, him. And that's one thing I respect about you, too, is because you are one of those people that's like, okay, you know what, he's going to get his regardless whether or not you acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important because the kids, like even though I do what I do, and I definitely, as a father, see, let me tell you why my stake as a father with him is that he's a pretty good talent, my son is, but also I can't acknowledge 99 kids, not acknowledge them. I can't do it. I got to go through too many layers to not do it. But he also gives me something to argue about. I say the same thing with Justice. Can't nobody ever stand before me and dispute me like, why you put that kid? Like, Negro, if you want to debate, let's go. I got time today. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I asked because, I mean, the thing about this is, I think a lot of people recognize his talent. A lot of people see the work he's put in. And then, like you said, you got a kid that comes to the trainer once a week. You know what he's doing behind. He's looking at film. He's critiquing himself. That's big when a kid critiques himself. He does it too. You know what I'm saying? But man, I ain't
has parents, man.
And that's it, man. Man, I appreciate your time. I know you got to go for a phone ringing. Anything, man, you want to tell these jokers out here, man? Because look, they crucify the righteous, and they hold the unholy and high esteem. What I mean by that is, you take a man like yourself, you're a father, you're a pillar of the community, a stand-up guy, and people will try to vilify you. But the reality of it is, vilify that person that's not doing something. Vilify that man, and I'm putting it out there, and I don't feel get mad that don't come and support their child even on the sideline. Vilify that man that's not helping to encourage his child to be better in life. Vilify that man. Don't vilify a man that's giving back to your community and teaching kids as well as teaching his kids. He would be a fool, and I'm not talking about this man alone, I'm talking about any man, to not uplift that child as well as your children. Because people love when you uplift their kids, but they get mad when you uplift yours. But man,
I mean, just to end it off, man. For me, this football thing, man. I'm really in this for the kids, man. I don't do this football thing, man, to validate myself as a man or to prove some kind of point to say, beat my chest, look how great I am. I don't need to do that. I've been pretty successful in my day. I don't need to use 8 and 9 year olds to validate me as a successful person. So I really do this for the kids, man. And it's not saying no other teams don't. I just speak on my team. I know we work hard. We put a lot of work in. We have great great, and I always give my parents a shout out. I truly think in this area we have the best parents at our age group. They're, you know, the type of moves we make, what I ask of them year in and year out, and them stepping up and doing, just coming through and, you know, bringing the kids out, traveling here, there, last minute games, double headers every weekend. You know, it's not, man, they really rock with us. They really rock with me and my coaches. You know what I mean? They see the vision that we have. They're on the same page as us. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we've been able to be, you know, as successful as we've been for the past few years. You know what I mean? You know, every year, you know, we're gonna have new parents come in, old parents go. But I think we'll consistently always have, you know, a good group of parents and kids that wanna get better, wanna learn the game. So, you know, that's I feel like that's what's always gonna probably separate us a little bit from, you know, the next sport in our age group. But I mean, you know, hey, just have fun, man. I'm not even on, you know, even on all the extra stuff and everything this season, like I've been on coach. Yeah, you know, I'm not even trying. I'm not gonna let. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do a better job of not being antagonized and being roped in all that extra stuff or whatever. So, you know, man, let's have a good 2023 season.
I tell you, I need to do the same thing, but I doubt I'm probably going to argue every point. But, you know, man, appreciate you, bro. And
Appreciate you, man.
And definitely. One last question. What was your salary last year?
Was that
What was your football salary? Your football coach salary for you football? What was your salary?
0?
Exactly.
Absolutely
free,
0.
Free fucking 99.
Free fucking 99.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So when y'all parents think y'all got so much to say, and I'm a parent, super parent that is, when y'all think y'all got something to say, remember this. His contract was free fucking 99.
Absolutely.
Man, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Man, so, man, we out, man. But, you know, I see you Tuesday, man.
No
Always.
doubt, man.
Antagonizing old Bravo.